Hey guys, so I'm back redoing finish these emails up, and then we will move on. So this is an email from Rick to Cindy on 8/14/2008. You guys need to quit making statements on TV. You sound like morons. You have both lost your minds. Casey could give a rat's ass about Kaylee. After the police spoke today and said that there is not one speck of evidence that points to a kidnapping, you said something really stupid. You said that since Casey does not have Kaylee, then she must have been kidnapped, Cindy. Or kidnapped. Sorry. Got a little ahead of myself there. Cindy, Kaylee is dead. Casey will lie to the end. There is no supporting evidence to Casey's story. None. She is going to prison for a long, long time. There is nothing anyone can do. Casey has lied and stolen from her friends and family with no remorse. Again, really come up with the remorse. It's just crazy. Anywho, people with a conscience don't do things like that. I can't put any faith into a person like that. You enable her to continue doing it. She needs her ass kicked and kicked good. Believe me, she will get it kicked in prison. That's why they have her under lock and key and surveillance and, you know. Email from Cindy to Rick, 8/20/2008. Casey may be a liar about some things, but she is a good kid and a great mother. You are so fixed on the sitter. Get over the sitter. Just because I have no pictures of her doesn't mean she doesn't exist. I do have pictures of the apartment. I've given things that belong to the sitter to the police. That Casey supposedly says belong to the sitter. 8/21/2008. This is from Cindy. Greta told me when she was in my house after she interviewed us that she cannot wait to hear me tell everyone S.U. when this is all over and Kaylee is home. Right. Reply from Rick. The sitter is the whole case. You are that dumb? Your granddaughter is dead. There, I said it. Casey has killed her some way, either by accident or on purpose. Casey is a narcissist. Casey has buffaloed you and George for a long time. The articles of clothing of the sitters was verified by who? Casey? No one ever saw the sitter, so how could they be proven to be hers? What drugs are you on? You have to be a moron. Destroying evidence with washing pants that smell like a dead body. I see how Casey is so screwed up between you and George as role models. Everyone on Greta thinks Kaylee is dead, including Greta. And I think, and they're talking about Greta Van Susteren. She has a show on cable. I'm not exactly sure. And flipping through channels, I've seen it. I haven't really seen her talk about the case, but I'm sure if you search YouTube, you might be able to find a few things, and I will do that as well. Email from Cindy to Rick. She did not steal Dad's check. I gave Mom the check back from her 21st birthday uncashed. That is how she got the routing number. You are the effing stupid one. There is a sitter. We have people tracking her. The OCSD is not doing their job. And that's Orange County Sheriff's Department. But we have other sources who are. There is no case against Casey. DNA does not take 31 days to get back. They have nothing. Email from Rick to Cindy. Mom has the statement that Casey stole from Dad's account. Mom told you about Casey stealing it. Quit lying for Casey. Casey's excuse for stealing was that Universal transferred her and they didn't have the budget for the phones that the employees needed and told them to buy them themselves. Casey told Mom that the Universal would reimburse them. Casey didn't have the money to buy it, so she borrowed it from Dad's account. The check was signed Casey Anthony. So don't effing lie to me. I have heard enough lies coming from your daughter for a lifetime, and now you are lying to me. Your princess daughter didn't even graduate from high school, and you covered that up. If you really wanted to find Kaylee, you would seek the real truth from Casey. No one believes you or your lying daughter. And this is pretty sad that Cindy would have risked with her family over Casey. This is just absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry if that was my daughter or my granddaughter, or I'm not old enough to be a grandmother, but the point is, I wouldn't deal with it, and neither would my mother or anybody else I know out there. So we're going to move on away from a few things here. I'm actually going to move on to 4/10/2008, and I know this is going back a little bit, but I wanted to touch base on the emails, because this is where some of the investigation has gone. On 4/10/2008, Shirley Polizia said that is the date that Casey Anthony made an unauthorized transfer from her husband's banking account in the amount of $354 to pay a cell phone bill. And this Shirley is Casey's grandmother. On 5/4 and 5/6, there was an IM that the police had found on Casey's computer that says Casey has called Kaylee with some New York Italian 3. Casey used the phrase "the kid," referring to Kaylee. And then on 5/6 again, with the same person, she calls Kaylee the little snothead. Mother of the year right there. Just, pointing out facts here. Okay, on 5/15/2008, Casey told Jesse Grund about something about 2 flat tires on the, and we'll get more into that as we go along, as I get to the transcripts. 5/24, Casey met Tony Lazzaro for the first time. Casey met Tony. First time Troy met Tony. Tony went to a party with Casey. 5/25/08, Casey went to a no-clothes party. She was in an American flag. Casey had a run-in with a guy named Brandon at the party. Casey claimed she had oh Lord, what was it? Some kind of a miscarriage. There we go, with him. And it was very emotional run-in, according to Amy Huizenga. Casey was very upset, and Amy Huizenga used it very, very, very upset at that point, and she was crying. Casey went missing from the party for an hour and a half. Oh, on 5/17/08, Casey spent the night with Chris at his parents' house. Kaylee was with her. Assuming that was another friend of hers. 5/23/08, Jamie met Casey at Fusion. When she met Casey, Casey managed the Shot Girls. That was the day pictures taken of Casey in blue dress at Fusion. Jamie said she'd been drinking, and that she was the reason why she got up, and that was the reason why she got up on stage, Casey told Jamie. Now, this is 5/23 that people were coming out with this. And they say that's the party pictures. I really don't know what to believe at this point. We'll find more out of that at trial. 5/30/2008, Casey stayed the night with Ricardo, and Kaylee was with Casey. Amy was, her friend Amy Huizenga was in Tallahassee at the time. 5/31/08, Jesse Grund had a pool party, and Casey came, and Jesse met Tony. Tony was one of the DJs for the party. After Tony and Casey went to the movies, Casey told Tony she couldn't spend the night because she had to go home. 6/1/08, Jesse found Amy, Ricardo, and Troy without Casey. They went to Voyage nightclub. The significance of that is that Casey was not with them, which I guess she normally was. Casey texted her friends to say she was already out, but unknown location to her friends. Tony said this date is the first time him and Casey were intimate. No child, and she didn't stay the night. Okay, on to 6/2/2008. Ricardo told Jesse that Casey told him She kissed Tony. Casey also tells Amy that she broke up with Ricardo and is now dating Tony. Casey took Kaylee and went over to Tony's apartment and hung out at the pool. 6/4/08, Casey, Tony, and Amy, Ricardo, and Troy went to a Voyage nightclub. She was driving an unknown white car with Tony and two of his friends. It was Troy's B-Day birthday. Casey left around 12:30, 12:45. She left with Tony and his two friends. 6/5/08, Jesse knows Casey was hanging with someone but doesn't know who. This is Cindy's birthday. Last time Lee said he saw Kaylee at Anthony's house, and Casey was not there. So, June 5th is when the last time, I guess, Lee was over there or had saw Kaylee himself. 6/6/08, Casey had plans with Ricardo but told him she had to work. The way he found out she was not at work was she posted pics of her at Fusion online afterwards. Ricardo asked Casey about the pics of Fusion. She then told him she did have to work, but her boss sent her there to spy on his daughter. That she went back to work after that. Ricardo says it was an excuse. It was also the first known time Casey went to Fusion. Now, we know that Casey doesn't have a job. Okay, now we know this. So she was still lying to everybody. It's like she keeps coming up with all these lies. How does somebody like that keep up with all these lies? Really? So I'm going to try to finish up here before the 15-minute mark here. So Ricardo told Jesse that Casey slept over and had Kaylee with her. Now it's 6/7/08. 6/9/08, Casey and Kaylee stayed the night with Amy and Ricardo. Amy lives with Ricardo. Casey ended sexual relationships with Ricardo. Casey picked up Tony from school. She had Kaylee drop Tony off at Mechanic. They went to Subway and Casey paid. Where she got the money, who knows. And 6/10/08 was the last time that Ricardo said he saw Kaylee. 6/11/08, Casey officially changed his Facebook and told Ricardo she was dating Tony. Troy left for Washington, D.C., which is another friend of Casey's. Amy and Ricardo went to Voyage nightclub without Casey. 6/12, Ricardo had left for Tampa. And these are my own timelines that I've been doing. So, okay, 6/13/08. Casey had planned a trip with Amy to Jacksonville. Jesse said Casey told Amy and Ricardo that her dad, George, had a mini stroke. She had to go to the hospital. Ricardo said she didn't seem noticeably upset. Casey went to Fusion with Tony. First time Casey stayed the night at Tony's with no Kaylee. Had a conversation with Eisen Donovan on IM. When he asked what does she do with the kid when she's at work, Casey said she has a nanny. And Casey said, we've been friends for over 6 years. Definitely someone I trust. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video before it runs out. And I will continue with this. And continue with this 6/13/08 IM message that she had with this other person, I guess is a friend. No clue.